Hello friends, this is Worm, and with the launch of Heresy, we got a host of new weapons that came to the game to us, and today I wanted to take a look at these weapons, talk about the god rolls for them, and stuff like that. But before we get into that, I want to remind y'all I will be live on Thursday nights, starting at 9 p.m. Central. Actually, not starting at, I'll probably be live before then, but 9 p.m. Central, we'll be live, so come over here, we talk about Destiny, talk about the new stuff, do all that stuff. Also, when I'm talking about these, I'm only going to be talking about the legendary weapons, and I'm not going to do a full breakdown of every weapon. We're just going to be talking about some of the potential god rolls that I see based on the weapon perks we have. So here we are. Like I said, I'm not going to do any exotics. Also, in the API, there's a lot of legendary weapons that have 4 different variants. They all have the same perks. So let's start with Adamantite, which is a strand support frame auto rifle, fires at 600 rounds per minute. And I'm seeing some good combos already. Obviously, this is a new perk, Reciprocity. This states that healing projectiles, as you're healing your allies, it will also heal you. Naturally, I think because this is a support frame auto rifle, this is probably a fantastic route to go with Reciprocity. So you get yourself Reciprocity, and then of course you can pair it with a Circle of Life is good. But if you're not looking so much for a support frame, we have other good options. Demolitionist, Pugilist, always great options for ability builds. We also have Subsistence here, which is good on auto rifles, and you can pair any of these with like Hatchling. Tear is also a new one. Precision final blows cause nearby targets to become severed, so you could have some strand synergy. You could do Slice and Strand and just become a severing monster. I'm sorry, Slice and Tear. That way you can become a severing monster, pair it with Strand, stuff like that. I think that could be a good option for PvE. Obviously, like I said, Hatchling Demolition is always a good option on auto rifles. So yeah, there's that. Also, this Elemental Honing perk, we don't know the damage numbers for it yet, but I will say when I was playing with a weapon that had Elemental Honing on, the damage perk was active basically like all the time. Like it literally, I don't know if it ever deactivated. So once we get damage numbers, we can kind of look further back into that. But yeah, for this auto rifle for PvE activities, I would say Reciprocity, Circle of Life, Reciprocity, Hatchling, Tear, paired with like Demolitionist or any of those. In terms of PvP, I'm not seeing a whole lot of really solid PvP perks here. Probably just kind of the same stuff. I don't know a lot of people who use support frames in PvP. But yeah, also something I did want to point out with this weapon is whenever you are hip firing at an ally and you're healing them, it will spawn unraveling projectiles. So that's Adamantite. Let's go ahead and move on here to False Promises. Now False Promises got a glow up here. It is now a Stasis 360 round per minute auto rifle, high impact frame. And the perks down here looking pretty good. Again, PvE, I'm looking at Loose Change, Headstone. Those two sound like they could work really well together. You know, you get a kill, make a headstone, but you could also do Feeding Frenzy and headstone, and you could also do Ambitious Assassin and headstone. Ambitious Assassin, of course, did just get a buff. I don't think that it actually says it still says it's on a timer. There's no timers on this. It's more similar to like Envious Assassin. You just got to get kills before reloading, and it will overfill the magazine. So I think Ambitious Assassin, probably a pretty decent perk. Then, like I said, you can pair it with Headstone. You also have Swashbuckler or Rampage, although these two, I'm not as big of a fan of Swashbuckler and Rampage. But yeah, talking about PvP, you have Zen Moment in the 4th column. I think you could pair Dynamic Sway and Zen Moment would be a great combo. You're just constantly getting that, that stability bump. Zen Moment will help you on the front end, and then as the gunfight goes on, Dynamic Sway Reduction will start to kick in, giving you just more accuracy. This could also be really good for taking down multiple targets at once. So that'd be a good roll. Outside of that, Surplus isn't bad, but I think with Surplus, like, I don't know of a lot of people who are holding on to their abilities very much, and I think Dynamic Sway is just going to serve you better for PvP. So Dynamic Sway, Zen Moment for PvP. You could try out High Ground. High Ground did get a nerf on primary ammo weapons, but you could still, like, you could try it out and maybe do some work. Let's move on here. Move on to Whispering Slab. This is a kinetic lightweight frame bow. We haven't had one of these in a hot minute that I can remember. We had Fell Taradiddle and the Trials bow. But looking at the perks here, let's start with PvE. We have obviously Demolitionist and Archer Tempo, as well as Pugilist. These three are great in this column here. Unfortunately, I don't see anything really awesome to pair them with in this column. Like, yes, you could do Demolitionist and Adrenaline Junkie, or Pugilist and Swashbuckler. Like, that would be a decent combo, but again, on a bow, I'm not really sure how viable that would be. We also have high ground here. I mean, high ground, getting a damage boost, not bad. And then of course 20% against champions, bosses, and stuff like that. I would say for PvP, for PvE, probably just Demo and Adrenaline Junkie, Pugilist, and Swashbuckler, probably just your best options. Or you could do Archer's Tempo and Vorpal. And yeah, now PvP, this is a little bit more exciting. PvP perks, we got Lone Wolf here, also Adrenaline Junkie, Perpetual Motion if you like that. And then over here you have Opening Shots, which I think Opening Shot is a great perk. And you do have Gut Shot Straight as well, if that's something that you're into. But with this being said, I don't know the actual numbers on these, but I'm wondering if Gut Shot Straight will potentially allow you to get 2 kills, or two body shot kill in the Crucible. Lone Wolf, of course, is a great perk, giving you those flat boosts to your aim assistance, airborne effectiveness, and ADS multiplier. And then, of course, when you're by yourself, it doubles it. And I think that's good. I think probably the way I would go for a PvP bow is Lone Wolf Opening Shots. Let's go ahead and move on to Resounding. Now, Resounding, this is the new seasonal, what's it called? Seasonal weapon. It's curated. You can't get anything else besides these rolls, but it does look like it has some good rolls here. Note, it is an aggressive frame strand fusion rifle, so it's got that new like pattern, kind of like fire similar to Bastion, but it has subsistence and reservoir burst. That's basically a god roll combo right there. That's perfect. You could also, if you wanted to do subsistence and hatchling, or cornered and hatchling. I don't think many people are going to be using cornered or hatchling. I think everybody's going to go with subsistence and reservoir burst. Yeah, makes sense. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Refusal of the Call. Now this, I don't know exactly when this weapon is dropping. I don't think it's currently, actually, it's not currently available in game from what I've seen. But it is an adaptive strand glaive. Also, look at this thing. Doesn't that look amazing? Sorry. Just wanted to point that out. But let's go ahead and take a look at the rolls on the weapon. And the rolls on this look pretty decent. We have a new perk here, Melee Momentum. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. We have a new perk here called Melee Momentum. Melee final blows with this weapon grant it bonus energy and provide increased movement speed while blocking. Currently, you don't get melee energy by melee, or you don't get glaive energy by meleeing. So I'm wondering if that will add some kind of functionality to it, where you can get melee energy by just getting, or glaive energy by getting melee kills. Sorry, I'm confusing myself with that. But yeah, and then increased movement speed while blocking. I could see you pairing this perk with tilting at windmills, so you get even more movement speed. So you just be flying around the battlefield. That way, if you wanted to be like a healer, like a solar warlock with no hesitation, put this bad boy on, block, walk around, move fast. But obviously we have our other suspect for good glaive perks. Replenishing Aegis is a great one. You have close to melee, which is a great one. You also have sword logic here, although sword logic isn't going to work with the glaive melee. If it worked with the glaive melee, I would say this is an S tier perk, but doesn't work with the glaive melee, so probably not going to be as good. Yeah, I would say probably your god reserve. Replenishing Aegis close to melee is a safe option. Also melee, maybe melee momentum and replenishing Aegis. Yeah, I think that's it. Let's see here. Refusal of the Call. Let's keep going down. Okay, Fatebringer. This is our first Vault of Glass weapon that is being brought back to us. And let's check out the perks on it here. And the perks, of course, they do not disappoint. Let's start with PvE, then we'll talk about PvP. For PvE, I think obviously everybody's eyes are going to be drawn down here to the bottom. We have kinetic trimmers and explosive payload in that third column. And in the fourth column here, we have Firefly, we have Frenzy, we have One for All, we have this new perk, Elemental Honing, as well as Magnificent Howl, if that's what you're into. I think what most players are probably going to end up crafting is going to be an explosive payload plus Firefly. We have kinetic trimmers and Firefly on Midnight Coup, but I don't think Midnight Coup has explosive payload and Firefly. And obviously explosive payload Firefly, that's the role that it had in Destiny 1, so that's kind of the classic role that players are going to want to go with, so that's pretty good. Also, let's see here, let's talk about PvP stuff too. There's not a lot here in the way of PvP. Like, you've got Opening Shot, Keep Away, and To the Pain, but over here in this column, I'm not seeing a lot. You got Eye of the Storm. So Eye of the Storm, maybe Eye of the Storm, Keep Away could be a really good option. Eye of the Storm, Explosive Payload, Eye of the Storm, Opening Shot. Any of these probably a pretty decent option. And then the only other perk that I really see functioning well inside PvP is one of these two, neither of which are anything crazy good. If you can kill chain, Magnificent Howl is a good option. But this definitely strikes me as more of a PvE weapon than it is a PvP weapon. But yeah, that's that. It still is a kinetic weapon, so didn't change that because we have some changes to some stuff that we'll talk about in a second. Moving on, let's talk about Cold Denial. This is a high impact kinetic pulse rifle, and let's take a look at the perks. Perks here, definitely looking like a PvP weapon. Obviously, for PvP, Zen Moment Headseeker is probably hands down the way you're going to want to go. Nothing else in here really strikes me as being anything crazy. You could make an argument for tunnel vision plus multi-kill clip. Any damage boost that a high impact frame can get, even if it's kill clip at times 1 stack, is going to make it feel like, you know, make it more forgiving. So yeah, it's like tunnel vision and multi-kill clip could be good in PvP, but I think Zen Moment Headseeker's PvP god roll. And for PvE, I'm not seeing anything that great in PvE. Like Enlightened Action, maybe, and like multi-kill clip, maybe Desperado. This is definitely a PvP weapon. Let's go ahead and go down to Redrix's Estoc. This is the new competitive weapon. It is a kinetic legacy PR55 frame pulse rifle. So think of like the Battler. That's what it is basically. And here are its perks, and let's start with PvE because we're gonna get PvE out of the way really quickly. Rhyme Stealer Headstone or Demolitionist Headstone, probably gonna be your ways to go. You could also do Sword Logic as well, but PvP, this thing is stacked with some great PvP perks. In the third column here, you have Lone Wolf, you have Zen Moment. These two are probably like everybody's gonna be what everybody's going for, is either a Zen Moment or a Lone Wolf roll. I would probably prefer Lone Wolf over Zen Moment, depending on how the weapon actually feels, because I don't have it just yet. But yeah, in the fourth column over here for PvE, you do have Kill Clip, you have Headseeker, you have Rapid Hit, and you have Sword Logic. And I think a lot of people don't think of Sword Logic when they're thinking of like a damage weapon or a damage perk. Sword Logic is an incredibly good damage perk. 20% damage boost after getting a kill for 7.5 seconds. So that will allow you to have a lot more forgiveness and potentially actually a faster TTK with this weapon. It does fire at 450 rounds per minute. So I'm thinking like for me, I would probably go with Lone Wolf Headseeker or Zen Moment Headseeker. If you want to, if you're good at kill chaining, Sword Logic is the way you'd probably want to go. Sword Logic, Zen Moment, or Sword Logic and Lone Wolf for PvP. Let's move on. We have Taraxippos. Taraxippos is a returning scout rifle. It's going to be coming with the Guardian games, which is going to be happening, I think, in like March, if I'm not mistaken. But the perks down here, this weapon doesn't look like it has any really great PvE perks. For PvE, you got 4 times the charm and enlightened action, which aren't like terrible. And then you have Hatchling, precision instrument, explosive payload, and of course the new perk Tear. But I think this strikes me as much more of a PvP weapon. Zen Moment, Keep Away, Lone Wolf, closing time to a degree as well. All of these would be great options, and you can pair them with something like Precision Instruments for more forgiveness, explosive payload so that you can have more flinch on your enemies, or of course Eye of the Storm, so you're just more accurate during a gunfight. I think probably like Zen Moments and Zen Moment, explosive payload, Zen Moment, Eye of the Storm are probably going to be your best way to go. I'm not actually sure about how much forgiveness it will allow with Precision Instrument, but you could also, if it does allow for a substantial amount of forgiveness, you could also do Precision Instruments. Yeah, let's move on to Peacebond. Peacebond is a returning Iron Banner sidearm. It's a kinetic adaptive burst sidearm, so it's got the 3-round burst. Let's take a look at its perks here, and this is really interesting. We have Headstone in the third column. Headstone in the third column is pretty uncommon. I can only think of one other weapon off the top of my head that can roll with Headstone in the third column, and this is one of those weapons. So for PvE, Headstone's honestly looking like the only perks that people are going to care about in this third column. Like, you have Subsistence, which will work in PvE, sorry. But I think Headstone, Rhyme Stealer, obviously a God Roll Stasis combo. But you could also pair Headstone with Desperate Measures, Headstone with Frenzy, or Headstone with Kill Clip inside PvE activities. Desperate Measures, pretty decent perk overall. So you have like, a Headstone perk, a utility perk, plus damage perk, and then another damage perk or another damage perk. But yeah, I think the god roll most players are probably gonna look for Headstone, Rhyme Stealer, or Headstone, and Headstone probably Frenzy. Even though I think Desperate Measures, like I said, I think Desperate Measures is really good. In PvE, Headseeker and Zen Moment. I mean, there's no competition between anything. Yeah, I take that back. Lone Wolf and Headseeker could also be a good option, but I think Zen Moment Headseeker is going to be the way to go. Remembering how the recoil was on this, the recoil is pretty jarring on this weapon, so having Zen Moment to reduce that visual recoil will help tremendously. Praedyth's Revenge. This is the sniper that's going to be coming from the Vault of Glass. It's rapid fire frame, so 140 round per minute, same as Supremacy, and we're going to see a lot of the same perks as Supremacy. In fact, if you have Supremacy at all, you probably notice rewind rounds, bait and switch. This is always a solid option. However, if you're going to go get Praedyth's Revenge and you already have Supremacy, I wouldn't go with this option because Supremacy can do that. I would say Envious Arsenal and bait and switch might be a better option. For you, just the ability to reload your weapons as you're cycling through and activating bait and switch on other stuff. In terms of boss damage, that's basically it. You could do 4 times a charm, bait and switch. There's Precision Instrument here, which in my opinion, Precision Instrument is nowhere near as good as bait and switch. So yeah, I'd say probably like Envious Arsenal, bait and switch for PvE. But you do have Kinetic Trimmers if you care about dealing more damage. In fact, you could do Kinetic Trimmers and bait and switch with, I think you can get up to a 7-round magazine. That could be pretty cool. So that's increasing damage even more. You just don't get the reload. In terms of PvP, I'm really not seeing anything great in PvP. Like, you have no distractions. Opening shot might be the best thing you can do in PvE activities. Also, I do want to point out Discord, of course, is on the weapon. Discord is very good on special weapons. Not sure how good it's going to be on a 140 sniper rifle, but you could do Discord and Firefly. That could be a pretty fun combo. Let's move on to the Boondoggle Mark 55. This is a first ever for us. This is a kinetic legendary aggressive frame submachine gun from Tex Mechanica. Right there, it's got the Tex Mechanica perk. Unfortunately, the rolls on this weapon don't seem anything like too crazy or too good. For PvE, I'm seeing Subsistence and Pugilist. That's really it for PvE in the third column. In the fourth column, we've got Swashbuckler and like maybe a Dojo. Like, there's nothing really that gets me super excited about PvE stuff in here. PvP, kind of the same way. We've got Hipfire Grip, which could pair nicely with Offhand Strike here and Tex Balance Stock. If you want to go for Hipfire, this could potentially be like the Hipfire submachine gun, right? Like, you got Last Word, that's the Hipfire hand cannon. This could be the Hipfire submachine gun, but I don't think most people are going to be using the submachine gun. Also, that's recoil direction isn't too bad. It's got a 96 recoil direction, but I do know that if this thing is anything like Huckleberry, it's going to have a lot of kick. But to the pain, closing time, encore. You can do encore killing win for just some crazy stats after a kill, and then you could kill chain pretty well with these two together. But again, for me personally, I just like something that's going to be helping me on the front end of a fight, and I'm just not seeing any of that in here. Yeah, like you could maybe do like tap the trigger and like closing time. That could be cool, but yeah, that's the Boondoggle. Nothing too exciting there. The Mirror Imago. This is a kinetic adaptive frame submachine gun. Again, not currently in the game. This might be coming in Act 2 or Act 3, but we might as well take a look at the rolls on it. Here we go. In the first column here, we have this new perk. It's called Recycled Energy. Reloading after defeating targets grants energy to your lowest charged ability. We don't know how much energy it is. I would presume it's probably like 10%, just like with Demolitionist or Pugilist or Strategist. It's just that this one's going to give it to your lowest charge ability. I actually really like the sound of this one because this is, if you're getting a lot of kills, this is going to be keeping all of your abilities really topped off nicely. But you've got Recycled Energy. You also have Pugilist here. Subsistence as well for PvE. And if you're crazy, you could use Grave Robber. I'm not a big fan of Grave Robber. And then, of course, in the fourth column, Hatchling is always a good option. We have Swashbuckler that you could pair with Pugilist, Sword Logic again. And that's really kind of all the perks I'm seeing here. I think the God roll will probably be like Recycled Energy and Hatchling, or Recycled Energy and Sword Logic. or Pugilist and the combination of these three as well. And then in PvP, I'm really not seeing any good PvP roles, like moving targets and like Sword Logic isn't. Sword Logic is a good perk. You can do moving target and Sword Logic, or moving target lock. Probably not too terrible, but this definitely is more of a PvE weapon. Let's keep going to Anamnesis. I think that's how you say that. This is a Void lightweight frame bow. The last one of these we got was actually with the Solstice event just last year, so hasn't been too long since we got a Void bow. But let's take a look at the perks that we have here, and this is looking stacked already. Of course, the first thing I'm going to notice for PvE activities: repulsor brace and destabilizing rounds. There you go. There's your god roll combo. Of course, this roll was also on the bow that we could get during the last Solstice event. So maybe we go something a little bit different here. There is this new perk here called Demoralize. It states that precision final blows cause nearby targets to become weakened. So this is basically destabilizing rounds, but with a weaken effect. You could do repulsor brace plus Demoralize. That could also be a good combo. You could also, if you were really wanted to, you could lean into the explosions. Dragonfly and destabilizing rounds would be a fun combo. One of the things I do wonder here, will Demoralize debuff enemies before Dragonfly detonates? Because if that was the case, Dragonfly and Demoralize might be a solid play. Because if Demoralize is debuffing the enemies before Dragonfly actually explodes and damages them, number one, that's going to be a lot of yellow numbers, and we know we like yellow numbers. But number two, it's going to deal even more explosion damage. So that could be a good option. And then, like I said, repulsor brace is always a good option. I think for this bow, you'd probably want to lean into the Void aspects. You do have Sword Logic here, so you can do like Sword Logic and Archer's Tempo. Not really a bad option. But yeah, I think PvE, this is looking like it's going to be a cooking bow. And now PvP, on the other hand, not looking all that great. Like, you have Archer's Tempo, moving target, Archer's Tempo, Sword Logic. Again, I don't think that Sword Logic is going to help you super tremendously. Like, maybe it can allow you to get 2 body shots, but it's not going to decrease your time to kill. It's not going to allow you to kill in 1 arrow or anything like that. So you could also do like successful warm-up plus Sword Logic. That way you get an even faster cooldown, because if Sword Logic does allow you to 2-tap to the body, this could become a monster with successful warm-up. But this seems to me like it's more of a PvE bow, and for PvE it's looking really, really good. Let's move on here. We have Afterlight. This is a Void adaptive frame fusion rifle, and the perks on it are as follows. Starting off for PvE activities, I'm seeing obviously Lead from Gold, Discord is pretty good, and then you could do Ambitious Assassin, Pugilist. Over here we have Reservoir Burst, Swashbuckler, Vorpal Weapon, Destabilizing Rounds. Right off the rip, if you just want a solid roll, Ambitious Assassin plus Reservoir Burst is gonna do you well. Although I really think that the play to be made here is an ad clear weapon with Discord and Reservoir Burst. Again, Discord, make sure your weapon's reloaded, get a kill with different weapons, switch back to this one. Every time you get a kill, number one, it's going to be dealing 25% more damage, and it's going to be causing that explosion, but also you're going to be getting that ammo back for free. Not just reloading from reserves or anything, but you're going to like literally be getting just free ammo back. So Discord and Reservoir Burst, very, very solid option. You could also do Discord destabilizing rounds, so then you don't have to worry. You don't get the damage boost and the actual explosion, but you do get the volatility that you can spread, again, for having free ammo. Discord, I think, is a very, very good perk inside PvE activities, so long as you pair it with a solid other weapon. Of course, Ambitious Assassin will allow you to refill your magazine, so you could do Ambitious Assassin and Reservoir Burst, just get 1 kill. If that 1 kill can get like 2 or 3 kills with the explosion, give it a reload. It's got an even bigger magazine, and then you just kind of feed yourself more and more ammo. As long as you can continuously make special ammo, that would be a pretty good roll. In terms of PvP activities, Under Pressure is obviously good. Under Pressure, successful warm-up, that could be a really good option. Under Pressure giving you that accuracy bonus, and then successful warm-up, getting a kill, increasing your charge time would be pretty good. But this definitely seems like more of a PvE weapon to me. Let's see here. We have this this fusion rifle here. It's called Cruoris. That's, I'm saying that 10 times fast, which is an aggressive frame arc fusion rifle. So aggressive frame, again, aggressive frame is that new archetype that shoots kind of like Bastion in the 3-round burst. And this thing, wow, this has got some really good looking perks here. Let's start off with the recycled energy. Obviously a very good trait. It's giving you energy back for free. You could also use eddy current, which I like eddy current, and of course you have Discord on this weapon as well, which I think is awesome. And then over here you've got Rolling Storm, you've got One for All. I think that really, again, the play with this weapon probably going to be like Discord and Rolling Storm for PvE activities. I mean, you get a kill with your primary weapon, you switch to this and just constantly be getting kills. It's arc, so if you're on arc subclass, it can make you amplified, or prismatic subclass, it can make you amplified, which will give you more bolt charge stacks. You know, you get bolt charge stacks, and then you can discharge them with by using your abilities, all for free, at no cost of ammo because of Discord. That sounds pretty good, but you can also keep it simple: eddy current and Rolling Storm. Yeah, I think that's basically the PvE god roll. Again, I don't know how much damage elemental honing is actually giving us, so depending on how much damage it is, I wouldn't imagine it's too much, because like I said, when I was playing with this perk, it was active constantly, so I don't imagine it's too much. So yeah, I think that probably like Discord and Rolling Storm is the PvE god roll, or maybe recycled energy and Rolling Storm. Now PvP, not seeing too much in the way of PvP. You have Threat Detector and Kickstart, both of which are pretty solid options. I would say Threat Detector, Kickstart, probably the best way you could go for PvP. Moving on to Hollow Words. Hollow Words is a precision frame arc fusion rifle, and the rolls on it are not looking all that great. We have Loose Change, but we don't have anything to pair with Loose Change. We have maybe Feeding Frenzy, Ambitious Assassin. About the best pairing I could see is maybe like Feeding Frenzy and Rolling Storm. Sorry, just had to sneeze. Feeding Frenzy and Rolling Storm. You got Feeding Frenzy multi-kill clip, which could pair nicely together. This does not really strike me as being all that great of a weapon. Ambitious Assassin, of course, reloading your magazine. You wouldn't want Ambitious Assassin and multi-kill clip. That just doesn't sound like it would work very well together. This is a pretty miss weapon. I would say for PvE activities, Rolling Storm, Feeding Frenzy, best way you can go. For PvP, goodness, there's just, for PvP, probably Slick Draw or Steady Hands, and like maybe Successful Warm Up. Looks pretty mid. Let's keep going though. Let's talk about Backfang. This is the new the Gambit glaive. It's rapid fire glaive, arc damage, and here's its perks. We have a bunch of them. Actually, let me zoom out just a tiny bit so we can see them all. We can't keep them all on screen, but I do notice here at the top we have Jolting Feedback and Volt Shot in the 4th column, which is really nice because if you're doing an arc build, you can pick whichever one of these perks caters more to your playstyle. Volt Shot, more aggressive play. You know, you get a kill, you reload, you can jolt your next target. But also you have Jolting Feedback. If you want to play more passive, more defensively with a glaive shield, Jolting Feedback is also a way to go. Over here in this column, of course, we have melee momentum, which will give us that bonus energy and movement speed when blocking. Pretty good. Tilting at windmills, also good. Immovable objects. If you're playing defensively, immovable object could be pretty good. Replenishing Aegis, always an S tier option. And then over here, close to melee, and that's about it. The only 3 perks I see really mattering on this glaive: Jolting Feedback, Volt Shot, close to melee. Yeah, that's about it. But over here in this column, you have some more options. You have, like I said, momentum, melee momentum. You have tilting at windmills. You have immovable object, which I don't think is too bad. You have replenishing Aegis. Yeah, and PvP, I'm not really well versed in glaive PvP stuff. Impulse Amplifier, probably a pretty good option in PvP, and then just pair it with, I don't know, Desperate Measures. Yeah. Where were we at? Okay, Psychopomp. This is the new Area Denial Frame Arc Grenade Launcher, and the perks down here are as follows. Oh, I'm seeing some good ones here. Obviously, Envious Arsenal, Eddy Currents. Ambitious Assassin, all very, very good options. You could also do Feeding Frenzy. I feel like with these grenade launchers, you do have the capability of getting a lot of kills. So you could get 3 or 4 kills in one grenade launcher, which gives you that super quick reload speed, and then you just kind of chain that on and on. In the 4th column, I'm seeing Harmony. Of course, Elemental Honing. We have Full Court, interesting one. Rolling Storm, we have Demolitionist also in the 4th column. If you want to do an ability focus one, you could do Demolitionist plus Pugilist. That wouldn't be bad. I think for damage phase, or for a damage scenario, Envious Arsenal and Full Court. Because remember, Envious Arsenal, it'll reload the weapon for you. Full Court just gives you that. But also remember, you equip this weapon and then you equip it with, say, like a chill inhibitor with Envious Arsenal bait and switch, and you are primarily shooting the chill inhibitor, while this is just passively doing damage in the background. I think that could be pretty good. Harmony also could work to your favor for this exact reason. Harmony and Envious Arsenal. Of course, Rolling Storm down here, that's just good all around. You know, like I said, you can get 3 or 4 kills with 1 grenade, get 3 or 4 stacks of bolt charge, or get 6 to 8 stacks of bolt charge if you're amplified. It's like a pretty good weapon. And then of course Eddy Current. I just like Eddy Current on arc builds. Yeah, Envious Arsenal, Full Court, definitely the boss damage way to go for ad clear. I would say probably Rolling Storm and Eddy Current, or Ambitious Assassin and Rolling Storm. And then for energy, you can do these two, Pugilist and Demolitionist. For PvP, I'm not seeing anything for PvP really. Threat Detector, probably the best you could do in PvP. Maybe a little bit of Harmony, but it's easy to avoid these. Let's go on to Exalted Truth. This is the adaptive frame, 140 round per minute void hand cannon from Trials of Osiris. And this thing is looking awesome. I'm already seeing this being a weakening machine. We have Withering Gaze and Demoralize. This might be one of the only weapons that can actually get this combo. You're just weakening everything. Aim down sights for a short little bit, shoot a target, kill that target, it weakens that target, and when it kills it, it weakens all the enemies around it. This could be a good like utility weapon if you're looking for a lot of weaken, but you also have destabilizing rounds, and of course repulsor brace in the 4th column, which means you could do Withering Gaze or destabilizing rounds and repulsor brace. Pretty self-explanatory combination there. But that's it for the PvE stuff. Let's talk about PvP, because this thing looks like it is stacked for PvP. You have Keep Away, you've got Lone Wolf, you've got Moving Target, you've got Zen Moment, and you have Slide Shot, all of which are excellent PvP perks. Over here in this column, you've got Eye of the Storm, you've got Magnificent Howl, Opening Shot, Precision Instrument. These are all decent options. I would probably say my personal god will be like Slide Shot, Opening Shot, for just that, or maybe Zen Moment and Opening Shot, just for that bonuses to those stats. Lone Wolf, though, like I said, these are great options. Really, it doesn't matter the pairing that you do with these. Like any one of these 4 perks plus any one of these 4 perks is gonna be a profitability. Also, one more thing for PvE, I don't know if destabilizing rounds can activate One for All, but if it can, you got destabilizing rounds and One for All as a potential option. Let us move on to the Palindrome. A Palindrome is a arc 140 round per minute hand cannon, and its perks are as follows. Here we go. In the 3rd column here, I'm seeing Recycled Energy, Outlaw, and Explosive Payload, all of which are good PvE options, plus Mag Howl, Rolling Storm, and Master of Arms, as well as Desperate Measures. For me personally, I'm thinking Outlaw and Rolling Storm, or Recycled Energy and Rolling Storm are going to be my, or Explosive Payload and Rolling Storm are going to be my PvE go-tos. Or PvP, you've got Closing Time, you've got To the Pain, and you've got Elemental Capacitor. I would say probably like To the Pain and Opening Shot or Snapshot. Maybe Mag Howl if you can kill Chain. Moving on, Joxer's Longsword. This is the new Crucible auto rifle. You had to play Crucible to get this one, but it's not from comp. It's just the Crucible drop. So you'll get like 500 million of these a season, and you can decrypt them for free. It's a heavy burst void pulse rifle, and its perks here are looking really, really good. I want to make sure we can see them all. Okay, starting off, of course, in the left column here, we've got Demolitionist, we've got Dragonfly, Pugilist, Rewind Rounds, Repulsor Brace, Strategist, all of which are good options depending on your build that you could do. And you could pair them in the 4th column with obviously Destabilizing Round, Withering Gaze. You could do Desperate Measures if you wanted to. Demoralize is over here. you've got a lot of really solid options here for PvE. I think this is going to be a weapon that you're really going to want to lean into the void build aspect, you know. So pair any of those ability recharge or repulsor brace with any of these void debuffing perks, and I think that you're going to really profit well from it. For PvP, Lone Wolf, I mean, you've got a lot of options. I would probably say Lone Wolf Headseeker would be my personal PvP go-to god roll. Let's go ahead and move on to Admetus. It's a high impact scout rifle. It's void. That's a Hake, so it's got Hake breach armaments. And in the columns here, obviously we have repulsor brace, withering gaze, so that will, you know, that's that void synergy that you're looking for. This actually has some really solid rolls for both PvE and PvP. In PvE, repulsor brace, recycle energy, rapid hit, all of which are good options. Then withering gaze or demoralize would pair well with either of those, so I'd look out for either of these two, withering gaze or demoralize and repulsor brace. Then you got, of course, rapid hit and recycled energy. Now for PvP, Lone Wolf, Keep Away, probably, I feel like Keep Away probably your absolute best bet because it's a scout rifle. You're going to be far away anyway. And then you got precision instruments and closing time, and then you have this new elemental honing perk. Again, once we know the damage on that, we could make a more informed decision. I'd say Keep Away, precision instrument, probably going to be like your best bet for this weapon in terms of PvP. Let's see here. Moving on, we got Vision of Confluence. This is the scout rifle, a 180 solar scout rifle from the Vault of Glass. And here are its perks, and notice right off the rip here, Heal Clip and Incandescent is not a combo that you can actually get on this weapon, because they're both in the third column. However, you can still get Firefly in the fourth column, so you could do Incandescent Firefly, and we saw how good Nullify was with that. Now you'll be able to get that, but also you can do Heal Clip and Firefly. Heal Clip and Firefly sounds like a good option because it is still dealing solar damage. Firefly still deals solar damage. You can still activate the healing, and you get a reload buff from this weapon, from this perk. So I think that Heal Clip and Firefly that's probably a really solid option for PvE activities. You also have Paracausal Affinity and Explosive Payload. My personal god roll would be Heal Clip and Firefly, or Incandescent and Firefly. In PvP, we have Zen Moment here, and we have Kill Clip. Zen Moment, Kill Clip, probably the best you could go. Zen Moment or an Explosive Payload also could be the other best way you could go. Okay, let's move on to, where's the next one? Fountain Verdicts. This is the aggressive frame arc shotgun from the Vault of Glass. So again, gonna be a craftable weapon. And over here, I'm looking, okay, I'm seeing a little bit of arc synergy. Obviously, we have Volt Shot here, so Volt Shot on a shotgun, not a bad option. We also have this, you know, Rolling Storm here. I see Discord here again. Naturally, my mind is going towards Discord plus Rolling Storm. Get a kill with another weapon, switch to this one. Free ammo. You're constantly getting free ammo to activate Rolling Storm. You could keep it nice and simple too. You could do Pugilist and Trench Barrel. You could do Threat Detector, and either combo these Slide Shot, Trench Barrel, Rewind Rounds, Trench Barrel. I don't think that doesn't really matter what you want to go with here. You can do for PvP, Opening Shot, Slide Shot, I think is going to be everybody's go-to, or Opening Shot and Threat Detector. That's going to be just naturally what players are going to want. Yeah. Let's go ahead and keep going to Division. This is a heretical weapon. We don't know how we're going to be getting this weapon yet, though. It's a heavy burst arc sidearm. So 2-round burst arc sidearm, and pretty straightforward with the rolls. For PvE, you're going to want probably Eddy Currents and Volt Shot, or Pugilist and Volt Shot. For PvP, maybe like Encore Eye of the Storm, Encore Sword Logic, maybe Encore Kill Clip if you're into that, even though I think Sword Logic is a better option. About it. Let's go to the next page here. Lotus-Eater. This is, of course, the new rocket-assisted sidearm. It's a void rocket-assisted sidearm. This will come from from Nightfalls and stuff. In the third column, you have Repulsor Brace, you have Destabilizing Round, you have Withering Gaze. There's your void combo. Obviously, everybody's going to be looking forward to. But some other good combos. Obviously, Strategist. I like Strategist a lot. You can also do like Beating Frenzy, and like maybe One for All or something. I don't know. The rolls on this aren't really that impressive to me, based on what I'm seeing here. Oh, hold on. We didn't actually go over PvP roles. If you're actually going to use this in PvP, maybe beacon rounds, and that's kind of it, man. Like this, maybe beacon rounds, maybe high ground. Okay, Keen Thistle. This is the new Trials of Osiris sniper rifle. It's an aggressive frame, in solar aggressive frame, and this thing, it's got some cook and rolls already, I'm seeing. Okay, let's talk about PvE first. Obviously, Incandescent or Envious Arsenal or Triple Tap are going to be your options. Then you have Bait and Switch. Bait and Switch is about the only one that anybody, I think, is going to really care about. Although you could do, again, Discord. You can do Discord and, like, Incandescent. Could be a pretty good combo. But PvP, that's where this thing is about to really shine. My favorite role ever, Snapshot Opening Shots, is available here. You also have Lone Wolf. You also have Under Pressure. I think that a really crazy combo here is Under Pressure plus Closing Time. That is going to make your sniper have like 100 aim assistance, a massive cone. Like this role right here is going to be the bane of so many Guardians. They might have to actually nerf it, because this role is going to be incredibly strong. I think it will be balanced out because the magazine size is only 3. And for this perk to work, it has to be below 50%. When you have 2 rounds of the magazine, it's not going to be below 50%. But for that last round of the magazine, you are looking really, really tasty with this combo right there. But really, that's the primary PvP combo. You could, like I said, also Lone Wolf Opening Shot or Snapshot Opening Shot, also great options for PvP as well. The Title. This is a returning energy, void energy aggressive frame submachine gun. Let's look at the roles it has. Again, Repulsor Brace, Stabilizing Round, Repulsor Brace, and Demoralize. There's your God roll. You could also do Recycled Energy plus either of those 2 Void perks, or you could do Recycled Energy plus maybe Elemental Honing. Would probably be pretty good. That's your PvE. For PvP, I'm not really seeing a lot of great stuff in the way of PvP, like Threat Detector. Maybe you could do Closing Time and Under Pressure again. Like if you kind of drain your magazine a little bit, this could become really, really strong. This could make this submachine gun really strong, but you have to drain your magazine, which I don't know how many players are doing that. But yeah, this looks like more of a PvE option, and again, more of a void synergizing PvE weapon. Let's keep going here to Karanos. Karanos. I'm not sure how you say it. It's an adaptive frame arc trace rifle. And the perks here, it's got a new perk. I'm going to point this out real quick. Detonator Beam. Detonator Beam states dealing sustained damage creates an explosion around the target. Think like Divinity, but it's like an actual explosion, not just a big chunk of damage towards one target. With that being said, let's kind of figure out what we could pair it with. Obviously, you could pair this with Overflow. I have a big old magazine, be constantly dealing damage with Detonator Beam. That could be pretty cool. I see Discord again. Discord, I like Discord. You can do Discord and Rolling Storm, so you're building those stacks. You could also do Discord and Killing Tally. Again, that would be pretty cool. Although you have to, you'd have to switch weapons to get value of Discord a lot. We do have Jolting Feedback here. Jolting Feedback is a pretty straightforward perk. You could do, if you want Arc Synergy, you could do Eddy Current and Jolting Feedback. Pretty good. Yeah, that's it for PvE. For PvP, you've got Dynamic Sway Reduction and Killing Wind. Depending on how soon Detonator Beam will activate, you can maybe do Dynamic Sway and Detonator Beam. Or of course you could do Dynamic Sway and Closing Time, which would also be a good option. Or if you wanted to be crazy, you could use Overflow and Killing Tally and get a kill with it. Every time you get a kill, they drop a special break. You pick up that special break, it reloads your weapon, and you keep the damage boost. That could actually be a really good PvP. Could be a good PvP roll as well, and a good PvE roll too. Let's see here. Warlord Spear. This is the Iron Banner Arc Trace Rifle. So we're getting 2 Arc Trace Rifles. That's a really interesting choice on Bungie's end, but hey, I guess I'm about it. This one has the same perk down here, Detonator Beam. It also has Jolting Feedback, but I'm seeing some different perk combinations. Obviously, one of the first ones I see here is Rewind Rounds plus Jolting Feedback or plus Detonator Beam. That just sounds like a match made in heaven. You can also pair Rewind Rounds with Target Lock, which would be pretty good. Or, of course, you could do Loose Change and Jolting Feedback. Loose Change, of course, did just get a buff, so now it lasts for 9 seconds instead of just 4.5 seconds. or I think 10 seconds if it's enhanced. Could be pretty good. You do have Envious Assassin over here. You could like maybe do Envious Assassin, Target Lock, maybe Envious Assassin, Jolting Feedback, maybe Envious Assassin, Detonator Beam. I think that Rewind Rounds is going to be the better option for anything like that. Yeah, that is the PvE. PvP, I'm not really seeing anything for the PvP. Maybe High Impact Reserves and Killing Tally. Sounds like the only thing that'd be good to me. Okay, let's see here. Hullabaloo. This is our first heavy. We're into the heavy weapons now. Almost done. This is a compressed waveframe heavy grenade launcher. And this thing is looking like this is an ad clear weapon. They want this to be an ad clear weapon. I'm not seeing any DPS weapons outside of maybe Envious Arsenal and Envious Assassin. So let's keep that in mind. If they want us to do ad clear with it, let's look at some ad clear stuff. Obviously, we have Volt Shot in this column here. We can do Volt Shot and Rolling Storm. I think this is the only weapon that can get Volt Shot and Rolling Storm on it currently. So that could be really cool. You jolt enemies, you're also getting stacks of Bolt Charge. That could be really cool. We have Volt Shot and Chain Reaction. Chain Reaction is very, very strong on heavy weapons. I think there's a couple more weapons that are going to have Chain Reaction. Keep in mind that Chain Reaction is very strong on heavies. You could do, if you wanted to, you could do like maybe like Volt Shot plus Golden Tricorn, get a kill, get a melee kill, or get a weapon kill, then get a melee kill, go on, so on and so forth. It'd be good. You could also do some energy build stuff, Strategist and Demolitionist. Yeah, that's it. Nothing really for PvE. Moving on to Eyes Unveiled. All right, so we have got, oh my goodness, I don't know if y'all just saw this, but this is the very, very first thing my eyes went to right here is Discord on a heavy weapon. The heck? I apologize, my alarm set to go off. Sorry. Anyways, Discord on a heavy weapon is actually kind of crazy. Discord on a heavy weapon. I'm not seeing anything too great to pair with it, unfortunately. It's not like you can do Discord and like Chain Reaction, but Discord on a heavy weapon, again, it's free heavy ammo. I don't know what they're like. There's no reason to complain about that, right? But let's take a look at the other perks here. You have Subsistence and Reservoir Burst, or maybe some ad clear for damage. Withering Gaze and Triple Tap's basically the only thing I see for like boss damage, which is kind of a little bit on the unfortunate side. You could also do Overflow and Withering Gaze, but I think Triple Tap's probably the better bet. And then for PvP, I don't see anything for PvP. Like maybe like successful warm up and field prep. Okay, sorry. Corrective Measure. Now, Corrective Measure is it's a void machine gun. It's now an aggressive frame. So it used to be a 450. Now it's a 600 round per minute weapon. And this thing, oh my gosh, this thing is cracked. They really want us to use machine guns as special or as ad clear weapons, and they're kind of really showing that off right here. So let's break down this because I'm seeing a lot of good rolls. We have Redirection, which is a damage perk in the third column. We also have Rewind Rounds. We have Subsistence, Demolitionist, and Firefly, as well as Destabilizing Rounds. So yeah, I mean, pretty self-explanatory on that. We also, over here, we have Demoralize. We have Withering Gaze, One for All, Elemental Honing, and Killing Tally. I think that's like what my eyes are drawn to as of right now. Obviously, Killing Tally, Subsistence is a good combination. You could also do like One for All, Subsistence is a good combination. Redirection plus Killing Tally sounds like it could be really, really strong. Like that's or Redirection plus One for All. Like that's double damage perks. That sounds like it could be incredibly good. Again, we have Demoralize and Firefly. Depending on what happens first, if Demoralize it will weaken the targets first, Firefly will clean them up very nicely. That could be a really cool roll. We also have Demolitionist and Demoralize. Guys, I'm already seeing this being paired with something like Collective Obligation. Boom, you get one kill with this weapon. There's your Destabilizing Rounds. There's your weakening. There's two of your void debuffs or Collective Obligation right out the gate. This thing looks really, really good for PvE. For PvP, like maybe like Dynamic Sway, High Impact Reserves, or Dynamic Sway and Killing Tally. The only thing that I really see, in that regard. But Yeah, this looks like it has some really, really good PvE rolls. Where are we at? Furor 5. This is another aggressive frame, so 600 rounds per minute. And this one, we've got Rhyme Stealer in the third column, but I don't see Headstone. Sorry, I don't see Headstone to pair with it. So that kind of maybe hurts it a little bit, but also maybe not. This is a stasis weapon. I could see you pairing this with stasis. We do have Rhyme Stealer, Golden Tricorn. Golden Tricorn is very good on stasis because stasis has a lot of ability uptime and ability regeneration. So you could do, like Rhyme Stealer plus Golden Tricorn could make your stasis builds really good. I see we have Recycled Energy as well. You could do Recycled Energy plus Golden Tricorn. If you wanted to keep it nice and simple, you could probably do like Rhyme Stealer plus Dragonfly. You freeze enemies if you're a warlock, for example, and you freeze a bunch of enemies. You kill one with Rhyme Stealer, it detonates Dragonfly, kills other frozen targets around it. Boom, you got your max stats Frost Armor right there. But yeah, that's kind of what I see for PvE. For PvP, heating up and maybe tap the trigger. It's about the best you could do. Let's move on to the next one, which is Watchful Eye. Okay, Watchful Eye is another 600 round per minute machine gun. It is arc damage, and its perks down here. We've got Overflow. We've got, of course, Eddy Current. We've got, what was the name of this perk? Field Prep. Couldn't think of the name. We also have Wellspring here, and then we have Jolting Feedback. I think that Jolting Feedback is going to be a great option on this. I think Sword Logic is going to be a really good option on this. It's a machine gun. Again, they want us to do ad clear with this. These things have high magazines. Like 64 rounds in the magazine is a high magazine. They have decent ammo reserves. I'm thinking you could do like Sword Logic and Eddy Current would be a good option, or Sword Logic and Overflow would be good options. You could also do Killing Tally. Killing Tally will just give you more damage for your weapon just as you're getting kills. You also have, of course, Rolling Storm. So you could do, Eddy Current and Rolling Storm, be constantly getting those stacks of Bolt Charge. It didn't have anything for PvP. Sinnoh, sure. This is a Strand Adapted Frame Rocket Launcher. And this is another one that has a bunch of perks here. And so we're going to kind of scroll through them. Mainly for rocket launchers, I'm thinking like damage phases. So I'm looking at Reconstruction, Envious Arsenal, and that's kind of maybe Clown Cartridge as well. Maybe Overflow as well. Any of those paired with Explosive Lights. I don't see Bait and Switch anywhere here. Maybe Lasting Impression. Yeah, I mean, this one is not, there's nothing too crazy for this rocket launcher. I'd say probably best bet Envious Arsenal and Explosive Lights, or Reconstruction and Explosive Light. If you wanted to have some fun, you could maybe do Reconstruction plus Bipod for 4 rockets in the magazine, but they're going to do a lot less damage. Let's move on. Hezen Vengeance. This is another Volt of Glass weapon. It's an aggressive frame rocket launcher, and here are its perks. The one that obviously is sticking out to me, Envious Arsenal, Bait and Switch. I think that's going to be everybody's go-to. But one that seems like it'd be a lot of fun is actually Cluster Bomb and Lasting Impression. You shoot it, it detonates after a little bit, and then it blows up into cluster bombs. I just think that'd be fun. Not necessarily viable or good, but it'd be fun for sure. You could also potentially do Cluster Bombs and Bipod. So you shoot those rockets, they detonate, and yeah, they have a little explosion around them. Could be pretty good. There is also Overflow if maybe you're interested in Overflow. And there's Incandescent here. I don't really see anybody using Incandescent on this. I think a rocket launcher is going to kill most of the enemies around it. So, yeah, I think Envy's Arsenal, Bait and Switch, probably the best way you can go. Let us move on to Abyssal Edge. This is a sword. This is a Strand wave frame sword. So the second ever wave frame sword we got. And I'm looking at it here. Of course, when it comes to swords, I always look at the fourth column first to see what kind of options we have. This looks like all ad clear options. So naturally, with it being all ad clear, I'm looking at Sword Logic and Tyros Blade. Tyros Blade is, in my opinion, the best option for ad clear on swords, and Sword Logic is just naturally the best choice to go with that. Kill a small enemy, then kill a bigger enemy, then a bigger enemy, and just kind of keep it going, and you're getting ammo back for every kill that you're getting. I don't know what else needs to be said about that. Not really any good PvP rolls. And Temptation's Hook. I believe this is the last weapon last weapon. It is a arc caster frame sword, so it's the one that throws the ranged attack. And for this weapon, collective, let's see, collective action, chain reaction, whirlwind blade. I'm thinking probably, again, just tireless blade plus chain reaction. Remember, chain reaction on heavies is very, very godly. It's very good. It's very strong. So chain reaction plus tireless blade. This could potentially give you like infinite ammo. Like if you kill an enemy and it blows up and kills like another enemy, that's gonna, or like 2 more enemies or something, that's going to technically count towards tireless blade. So like, for example, if you killed 1 thrall and it blew up and killed like 8 thrall, that would give you like 4 ammo back, right? So like, not only is it technically like potentially infinite ammo, but it could be like additional ammo, not just like Discord where, oh, Discord will allow you to, you know, get 1 ammo back. Like it could allow you to change your ammo forever. But yeah, that I believe is the last weapon. The rest of these, yeah, all these are just these are just the Volta Glass weapons. Again, not sure why they're down here a second time, but yeah, that is all of your weapons. That is all of the god rolls and the breakdowns, of course. Keep an eye out for them because there were some really good rolls in here. But with that being said, if you liked the video today, do me a favor, drop a like, helps the channel out a lot. Subscribe for more daily Destiny content, conversations, debates, discussions, all that good stuff. And remember, we will be live on Thursday nights to stream Heresy. So yeah, y'all behave yourselves. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now, guys.